Hello and welcome to the Suzanne and Sarah YouTube channel. I'm Suzanne Moore, realtor here in beautiful sunny Bend, Oregon with Realty One Group Discovery and the founder of the Central Oregon Investor Network, which brings together investors not only from Central Oregon but from all over the country to share resources, learn from one another, and create more passive income in our lives through real estate investments. So today we are going to talk to you about what you need to know when you buy a house on a well and septic system. As you may know, many rural Central Oregon properties are served by well water and septic systems, and it's really important for buyers to understand the specific considerations that differ from homes that are connected to municipal water and municipal sewer systems. So here's what you need to know when buying a house on a well and septic system. Number one, understand the basics. Not everybody knows what a well is or how a septic system works. So we're going to talk through that quickly because by delving into these details, you'll understand the basic concepts of well water and septic systems. So what is a well? A well is basically a big hole that's drilled into the ground that taps into an underground aquifer or groundwater that provides water for the property. So the water for the home comes from this hole in the ground. And oftentimes there is a filtration system that the water will run through before it reaches the home for consumption. And sometimes additionally, there's another filter at the sink, for example, to filter for drinking water. These filtration systems are installed at the discretion of the homeowner and are generally transferred with sale. So if you buy a home that has a filtration system, generally that filtration system will come with the home. What is a septic system? So you understand sewer, right? When you take a shower or you flush the toilet, that water has to go somewhere. Well, in the city, it goes into a sewer system and it gets treated at a wastewater treatment plant. With a septic, when you take a shower and when you flush the toilet, there is the on-site wastewater treatment system on your property that collects, treats, and disposes of your household sewage. So it includes a big septic tank. Oftentimes they're 1,000 gallons, generally either made of steel or concrete, and a drain field. So the liquids stay on the top, the solids go to the bottom, and then filter out through the drain field. And sometimes you'll see these visible mounds in the yard, and that is a sign that the property is likely served by a septic system. So number two thing to know about wells and septics, especially when you're considering buying, is inspection is critical. You definitely want to have an inspection of the well and the septic system before you buy a property. So what are we looking for in a well inspection? You will be hiring a certified well inspector to evaluate the well and the pump condition, test for water quality, and measure the flow rate of the water coming out of the well. So what's your water pressure essentially coming out of the well? You'll also test for contaminants like bacteria, nitrates, and other pollutants to ensure that the water is safe to drink. And in Central Oregon, the typical well flow rate is 5 gallons per minute. So that's the minimum that you want to have. Anything below that will likely require some repair or a re-drilling of the well. So a septic inspection is really involving checking the condition of the septic system, the type of tank. Sometimes those old steel tanks leak because they corrode. The capacity of the septic tank, is it 500 gallons? Is it 1,000 gallons? That matters based on the size of the house, how many showers and toilets and sinks you have. And then of course you want to evaluate how well the drain field is performing. And flushing those effluents out through that drain field. So the inspection will identify any potential issues like blockages or leaks, because those are the big things that can cost you money to repair in the future. Third thing to know about wells and septics is maintenance and responsibility. So as a homeowner that is served by a well and septic system, you bear the responsibility for maintaining both of those systems. You're not on city water, you're not on city sewer, so these things you have to pay for. So well maintenance. Basically, wells really require little maintenance, but you do want to inspect the pump, make sure the pump's working, because that's the only way that water actually reaches the house. You might want to clean your well frequently. You may also want to retest your water quality to make sure that your filtration system is set up properly to filter for the things that are in your water. And obviously replacing those filters and sometimes even putting in salt for water softening as well, so you don't get those white stains on things. So regular well care ensures that you will have a safe and reliable water supply. Now, septic system care. So proper septic system maintenance is really vital to prevent backups and system failure, because system failure of a septic is not pretty. So proper care includes periodic septic tank pumping, and any local septic company can come out and pump the septic for you. Avoiding excessive water usage, because that really makes it so the system doesn't work properly. So reducing your shower time is important. Low flow water fixtures on your shower and your sinks, and just really being mindful of what goes down the drains. Flushable wipes are not flushable, especially with a septic system and really with any sewage system. The fourth thing to be aware of with wells and septics is regulatory compliance. Water is a big deal. Waste is a big deal. And there are specific requirements related to wells and septic systems that vary by area. Things that may be required by a municipality are setback distances. So in Central Oregon, your well has to be at least 100 feet away from your septic system to make sure your water is not getting anything in it from the septic system. Permitting your well and your septic system, and water quality testing. Compliance with these regulations is really essential to avoid any potential legal issues or just issues with water. And in some areas of Deschutes County, an ATT or alternative treatment system is required for your septic in order to ensure that nitrates are not entering the groundwater supplies that are, going into nearby wells. So the ATT system is more expensive to install. It's required if you're making any major change or remodeling a home, adding bathrooms and things like that. They may require you to upgrade your septic system, or if you're building a brand new home in some of these areas, you will have to put in an ATT system. And what that requires is an annual maintenance contract and county reporting, which can all be done through a local septic provider. They do the whole thing for you. They maintain all those records. They come check your septic system once a year, and they do it for $350 a year. That's the current price. So certainly very doable. One other thing to think about with wells and septics in particular, number 5 here, is emergency preparedness. You might not think about this, but in the event of a power outage, the well pump is not going to work because it runs on power, and the well pump is the only way that water gets from the well to your house. So that could leave you without access to water. So you really want to consider having a backup power source like a generator to ensure continuous water supply during emergencies. Or alternatively, you could consider installing a hand pump so that you have water access regardless of electrical outages. Number 6, you want to budget for maintenance and repairs. Both wells and septic systems can incur maintenance and repair costs over time, so you want to budget for these expenses and consider setting aside maybe an emergency fund for any unexpected issues that may arise. Number 7, water conservation. This is important. Efficient water use is really critical for homes with well water because excessive water usage for things like lawn care, having that beautiful green lawn in the middle of the high desert is probably not the best idea, and that can deplete your well. And if you don't have enough water flowing through your well, guess what? You get to dig a new one to the tune of $35,000 minimum. So you want to be implementing water-saving practices and fixtures to conserve water and prolong your well's lifespan. We all know that water is plentiful, but it is not an infinite resource. So new wells are not cheap to drill, as I said, and they generally have to go deeper than the prior well, and the water quality is different at each level of the aquifer. So you may have to get a totally different filtration system. So conserving water helps everybody. Next up is testing and treatment. You really do want to regularly test your well water for any contaminants so you know what you are drinking, bathing in, washing your dishes in, and if necessary, invest in some water treatment systems like those filtration systems, the water softening systems that I talked about, because those can address issues like hard water, iron, which can leave that kind of rusty look on things, and then sometimes even well water will have like a rotten egg or sulfur odor that can be filtered out with the right system. Wrapping it up here, buying a house on a well and septic system is common, especially in rural areas. And the benefit is you have fewer utility bills. You're not paying a water bill and you're not paying a sewer bill, but instead you are responsible for maintaining the integrity and the quality of those on-site systems yourself. With a well and septic, you have more independence and control over your water supply and your wastewater treatment. However, with that independence comes the need for proper maintenance, regular inspections, and compliance with local regulations. And by understanding these essential considerations and taking proactive steps, you can enjoy the benefits of a well and septic system on your property while ensuring safe and reliable water source for your home. So that wraps up today everything you need to know about buying a house that is on a well and septic system. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Suzanne and Sarah YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe to our channel and you'll get lots more great information about investor topics, homeownership, and Central Oregon lifestyle. Thank you.